Alrighty, so it's time to do some more detailed work now that we've finished the colour blocking on the Albird gift mark. And it's a clean sweep of Vallejo model colours today. We've got neutral grey for the beak area, we've got the deep yellow for the eyes, and for the pads of the feet, if I can get it to focus. Yes, no, maybe. Brown sand. It's not too bad. There is just it's kind of hard to see, but there is just a little bit of pink that's missing from the corner of the mouth there. So I'll have to just do a little fix-up touch with the pink. I'm pretty happy with the grey, where that's gone, so that's all cool. For the beak. So I'm just pausing the video when I put the paints on the vortex mixer because it's loud and noisy, and I'm sure no one wants to hear that, especially when nothing's happening in front of the camera. So if you're wondering why I'm pausing the video, it's just for about 10 seconds or so. I like to give my paints a quick mix before I use them, because obviously it makes a better consistency of the paint. And also I should have mentioned that I have just done a Montmartre white after I've done the colour blocking. The reason for that is obviously like the browns or whatever colour it is. Pretty much any colour is going to show on a reasonably thin yellow like this. So just putting down a white coat first. I guess you could call that a colour block as well, although it's not really. It's just more like getting things set up for the yellow. It means that the yellow will pop. And there's just a little bit of the colour blocking near the eye. It didn't cover the one area that I've missed, so I'm going to have to go back there with the Montmartre paint. Seeing as I've decided to keep the main colour of this as the Montmartre paint rather than use these Vallejo's. I think that colour is fine. Of course I'll be doing some dry brushing later to give it much more texture, but yeah, I need to do just a little fix on that area near the eye. I have an iPad handy and I was just looking at Google Images for images of an owlbear eye specifically, and beak as well, just that general area on what other artists and have done with owlbears in the past. And the consensus pretty much seems to be that they have like big black dots in the middle, which is probably what I'll go for, even though this model, for whatever reason, doesn't really have just a proper rounded lid. It kind of more like a peeking eye and a eyelid. I'm guessing that line is like an eyelid line, but I'm pretty much just going to ignore that and paint a big black dot there because that seems to be the more uniform way of representing owlbears. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. So the reason for the different shade of brown is just to add some different texture to the model, and these sorts of creatures, kind of like a bear paw, it is slightly different colour to their main body colour. So the idea here is just to add a bit of interest. I love the look of this owlbear. Looks like a very happy bird. Slash bear. I think with actual bears on the first pad there's usually like a break in the line, but this isn't actually a bear, it's an owlbear. So, I'm just going to follow what the designer of the original model had intended. Who's to say that owlbears don't have one big pad? It's really out of focus. Doesn't want to focus on it. But, there we go. That's a better idea of what the paw looks like now, as opposed to just plain. Well, I've done the toes there, but you can see the difference with the foot pad. Just kind of gives a bit of separation. Let's try on the other side. And obviously to be pretty equal size. There we go, that's all right. So with the werewolf, I've got these couple of small bits of wood that are holding I guess that's some kind of horn, or we'll go with spike, a big tooth, whatever you want to call that. But anyway, there's these couple of really small bits of wood, and I've still got this brown out, so just gonna be opportunistic and paint that with the brown that I have already brought out, because it's quite a different brown to the werewolf, which is what I wanted, so this makes it look different. Once again, off camera, I painted the tusk or the tooth, or depends on what sort of beast it came from, I guess, as to what it actually is. But I painted it white. It just will make the painting of the ivory sort of colour, which is probably what I'll run with that, or a light yellowy sort of colour, but probably like an off-white of some form. Just means that when you go to paint it, it will obviously look a lot better because of the white. And then ropes, probably be some kind of linen, yellow sort of colour, hemp, that sort of thing. Probably yellow tone because it's just going to be different to the brown tones. So I decided to go with the Montmartre paint for a couple of these models. I gave them 2 coats of the base colour blocking. Just kind of gives a better consistency. The bottom one's alright. I think I've missed anything. Let's do the top one. Yeah, I like how the 2 brown colours kind of mix. A clear separation between the 2 of them. It's quite a reddy brown, the werewolf. So, of course, he won't look like that when he's finished. Oh no, he'll look a lot more menacing. One of the things with model paintings, you spend so much time getting all the painting done. The model, sort of like in the painted state, spend a lot of time doing that. And then the dry brushing or washing, whatever you're doing, I mean, that just takes next to no time at all. And yet that's the thing that really makes the model pop and gives it its character and really sets the tone, for want of a better word, of the model. Is just that quick stuff you do right at the end. Of course, if you don't do the actual painting and you don't have the detail in the paint, then it looks like shit because it's not a detailed model. So, you know, part of the fun of this hobby is getting things to look like, ooh, that's pretty realistic. That could actually be something. That's where you get your enjoyment from. Just a bit there. Not looking too bad. There's one of the more fiddly handles actually of these mugs because it's like the wood and the tooth and the rope, so it's 3 parts to it, whereas you get like your piping for your Frankenstein, it's just one colour, just simple as is. Same for the vampire, just your wooden colour, so nice and quick and easy. But yes, werewolf is going to take a little bit of work. Alrighty, let's have a look at this owlbear and see how it works out. Usually I don't paint eyes this big, but that's kind of what they had as a reference, so we'll see. See how I feel about it. Of course, the thing with this style of painting is you can always change it if you don't like it. If you really don't think it works or it's unusual, you can change it. But See how we go. Yes, definitely not used to painting eyes with that big a dot, but yeah. So for the horn on the werewolf, I've decided to go with the silver grey colour. I think it should work out well. Alright. Still got to do the rope that's holding it in place, of course, but it's not too bad. Do the eyes red, I believe, as my reference images have the red eyes on the werewolf. So for the stitching on the Frankenstein, I'm going to go with this medium sea grey. Isn't a lot of stitching, but obviously it's going to kind of stand out. Right. I'm going to go with this deep green for the hair. Sure I'm not holding on to any stitching. Okay. Looks like I need just a touch more paint. That should be enough to finish it off. Just a little bit. Still got to work out what colour I'm going to paint the teeth. It's getting there, finally. So for the vampire, we're finally going to get to add some colour. For the eyebrows, I'll add black. It just seems to be the way it should be going. For the teeth, I'm going to add this game colour scarlet red. And for the eyes, I've got the white behind, so I'm hoping that a transparent red, which is pretty thin, but with the white behind it, it should really pop. So we'll see how that goes. Once again, my color references for this have come from Google Images. I just like Google image search, like in this case vampire, and just browse through all the artwork and movie screen captures and just kind of build an idea in my head as to what I want it to look like. Oh, with the owlbear, by the way, those big eyes, it's very unusual for me, but they're growing on me. The more I look at it, the more I'm happy with them, so I think I'll probably keep them like that. It's reasonably successful, I think. Just a touch closer. Let's move on. Oh yes, that does work well. If I do say so myself, that is going to work out just fine. Yeah, because the rest of the model is so grey and black, like just that colour stands out so nicely. It actually looks even better than I thought it would. It's not often you can say that. Yeah, I am super happy with that. Alrighty, let's see how it goes when we got the teeth done. Well, this model is coming together nicely. Need to fix a little bit of the white, still shows around the eyes. So I need to put a bit of grey to get rid of that. But then that is going to be pretty much ready for its dry brushing. Oh, gosh, I'm really so happy with how those eyes turned out. Like, really happy. Alright, get over yourself, Jay. Move on. Alrighty, we're back to the owl bear, getting close to having done most of the major painting for the owl bear done. But they do have these feathers that stick out that have a different texture on both sides. So it's kind of like they're internal feather that's poking through rather than the external feathers, I guess. So for those, I have decided that I want them to kind of stand out as different. So I'm going with a AK interactive paint called Pale Sand. So they're much more of a cream tone. Like I said, not too, well, they've grown on me. The eyes have grown on me, so that is the way that they look in a lot of the reference material that I was researching, so decided that fair enough, something different. I certainly don't usually paint eyes like that, but hey, if that's how owl bears look, who am I to judge? And who am I to change it? Right. I have to stick with what I do. Hard to get to. I don't want to stuff it up by painting this colour on the exterior fur because it would stand out. It's a good idea to check where you're holding the model just to make sure you're not going to touch somewhere that you've just painted. Just need a touch more paint. I was like, oh, I won't need much, it's only a few little feathers. Yeah, well, still takes a fair bit of paint on both sides. Yes, excellent. Alrighty, well, given the length of the video time, I will probably end this recording session here. But that has been detail painting on the owlbear, a little bit on the werewolf, still have to do the ropes on that. A little bit on the Frankenstein, still have to finish the eyes and the teeth on that. Vampire is actually like 99% done. And didn't get a chance to get to the Mimic and the Mind Flayer today, but Mind Flayer is really close anyway. So yeah, that will end it for this detailing session. Thank you for watching.